Imagine spending only 4 years in the spotlight and leaving an impact on so many people all around the world. Jimi Hendrix, an American musician, did just that. He played songs and solos on his guitar, and it caused him to become a major inspiration to not only musicians, but ordinary people. And while he lived only for a short while, he'll be remembered forever. So Jimi Hendrix was born John Allen Hendrix. He was born in 1942, which was a rough time because he was an African American, and laws and just segregation and all that stuff was still kind of in the air. So we're going to start off with his childhood. So Jimi Hendrix's dad grew up playing the blues. So obviously Jimi took after him and found that very interesting. In his later teen years, as well as his 20s, he served in the military. He went into the Army in 1961. And he was only there for 1 year because he got an injury of some sort. And it's kind of cool if you go on military.com, he's listed as a famous veteran. And it's crazy because you would have never thought, oh, a famous musician served our country. Things like that. So once he gets back from the Army, his musical career starts. As I mentioned before, he grew up playing the blues, so this was nothing new to him. One thing that is honorary about Jimi Hendrix is that he didn't know how to read music. He described it as sounds and colors. To the day he died, he didn't know how to read music. So it's just crazy that someone can be that talented and be able to do all that stuff without not knowing how to read music. So he gets back from the Army and he moves to New York. He starts his new life. He starts playing at coffee houses, booking gigs. And one day, a guy of Brian Chandler from the band Animals heard him at a coffee house and signed him. According to BBC Radio, he said that this guy doesn't seem special until he started playing with his teeth. So Jimi Hendrix was in a coffee house, had his guitar, and started playing with his teeth. And that's what made him famous. So at this point, he gets signed, and it's time for a major makeover. So at this point in time, he was going by the name Jimmy James. Not Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy James. And Brian Chandler's the one that changed him to Jimi Hendrix. He gave him a new look, a new style, coached him on how to play different music, whatever. So his famous years start in 1966. And as I mentioned at the beginning, he only was in his famous years for 4 years. So he starts playing for big artists like Tina Turner, just as a backup player, and people everywhere started to love him. So he started playing shows by himself, and things that made him famous were he would play with his teeth, play his guitar backwards, upside down. He quickly became a superstar, obviously. He was famous for playing with Fender Stratocasters, which, as you can see, this guitar behind me is a Fender Stratocaster in my boyfriend's room. It just shows how big of an impact he's made on the entire world. So, at this point in time, he was considered to be the best of the best. And still to this day, he's arguably the best guitar player that there's ever been. So sadly, he died at 27 of a drug overdose, which ended his, 4 years of fame. Right before he died, he opened a recording studio in London with new technology and has inspired artists that we listen to today, such as the Foo Fighters, David Bowie, Slash, Eric Clapton, Freddie Mercury from Queen, Lenny Kravitz and Prince, my dad, my boyfriend. These people all listen to him, all play guitar, just because of the way that he impacted their lives. And to this day, he's still argued to be the best, served our country and influenced music, and he's just made a huge impact on everybody's lives. And to end this off, Jimi Hendrix said this one quote: "When I die, I want people to play my music, go wild, freak out, and do anything they want to do." And I think he's inspired people to do just that.